Hi guys, this is me, Ivan Polovic, and I have here my friend Calvin Mann from Las Vegas.
Hello?
Well, Calvin, I expect that we can do that TDD and domain-driven design and an introduction to clean architecture again because the last time was a failure on my side using VS Code. What do you think?
Excellent. Let's do it.
Great. So let me switch to VS Code. Well, the first thing that I want to share is I am in a MacBook, so the shortcuts may be different for you in Windows machines. One thing that is good to do in the first time using a new project in VS Code that target .NET Core applications is to create a file structure. So I'm going to a folder that I already know and creating a folder called wallet that is our business, and this is just a shortcut to go to the wallet folder that I just created, and then .NET new SLN, and we can create a solution .NET new. Oh, this is a failure, but let's continue. So .NET new SLN, and what I wanna do here is to create the basic file folder structure. So I usually have a source folder and a tests folder. So at this time I have wallet solution in the root, source and tests. Well, then as we are doing domain-driven design, it's nice to have a project .NET new class lib for the domain. Yes. And
Uh,
yes.
I was wondering, what maybe the default class library type is. Is it a .NET standard or?
Uh, that template without any parameters is a .NET standard project. I think it's 2.0.
Okay, and the significance of that is using .NET standard is you're able to use it with Core, you're able to use it with .NET Framework. Is that correct?
Yes, but I think in practical, we need to switch the .NET standard to 1.3 if you wanna have the mostly compatible version.
I got you.
So .NET standard 1.3 will be useful for .NET 4.7 and .NET Core 2.1, I think.
Wow. Okay. Awesome.
And so the idea here is I created a domain, and now I'm creating a unit test project. Now, what I need to do is I have an empty solution. So I wanna add the project to the solution, and it is done can be done with .NET add SLN, .NET SLN add, and now I can add with this pattern. Well, with that in mind, I have a solution, a source and test folders, each with a project, and it would be nice if I can open this folder in VS Code, right? So .code -r dot -r is to reload in the same application. And now what I expect is that it asks for to enable the C# extension here. Well, with that, it will create these configurations. Also, the build task. So I can Command Shift P and then run task and choose build. It will build the application, or just Ctrl Shift B, I think also do the same. So now it is a very basic structure. We have tests and domain, and to set up it on Sharp, okay, fix and reload, something related. What is interesting here, I will just delete these initial files, and another step is to add the reference from the unit tests, from domain to the unit tests. So if I go to CD tests and I wanna add a reference so the unit test can use the domain. So .NET add, and now it's wallet reference, but not source wallet. Okay, this is just to do this line. It's basically well, but sharing something that it's useful. So now what I wanna do is I wanna create a new C# class here for the customer tests, right? Okay, don't ask me about that. And what I wanna do here is using XUnit, that will be necessary. And our first test to play with domain-driven design and test-driven development is to, let me see, a test that register a customer, and so I wanna test the register customer use case. So my target will be the register customer, and it should return a customer when the details are valid. This is a huge name for a method, but it's clear for a test.
Right.
So okay, void. Yes. So the idea here is I wanna test the register customer. It will return a customer when I fill the expected values correctly. So one expected value is the name, right? So can be that John Doe, and another one could be the phone number with something like that. So to register a customer using these fields, what you need to do is I wanna in this model I have this arrange, and the act will be basically calling the also I need a service for that, and that service will be a use case. And how can we define this? Something like I register customer use case would be our service. So and this may be come from a register customer use case. Well, at this time I have a compilation error, right? And
Right.
the idea of test-driven development is the moment you have a problem with the test, you need to go and write the minimum amount of code to make it pass or at least compile. So my idea here is I will create an interface for the first part. So I register customer use case, and this is the first part, and I will add the wallet dot domain. So the first part is passing now, and I need also a use case here, the proper class. Need to create a new register customer use case. Well, it is necessary that this class implements the interface, kind accessory. Okay. And I wanna share some thoughts that we are using VSCode to write an application that is .NET, and this is not usual. for the majority of applications because we have a great IDE with Visual Studio. And you may see like, so you have more productivity with Visual Studio. But what I wanna start thinking is when you are out of your comfort zone, in the case of using VS Code, without that debugging tools, with advanced debugging tools, you need to exercise your discipline of designing software. So in our case, we are exercising the tests and implementing a complex domain. In that case, it would not be so complex, but by using the test-driven development, we can also get rid of the debugging tools, because each time we write an production code, we will have a test covering that aspect. So all the problems that may occur will be so small that will be clear in our text editor like VS Code. So I'm not saying that VS Code will be more productive, but will give you focus to exercise your discipline. And at this time, we have a use case implemented, and what we expect is that it return a customer class, right? When I do some kind of register, you see dot register, and I pass the expected name and expected phone number. So the idea is this. So at this moment, what we need a customer entity that will be returned from this. But I don't see this really as a customer entity, because I don't like to share out of my domain data and behavior, because usually entities have methods. So I want to return a customer response, or maybe result be better. So the intent of my use case is not to return a customer properly, but a customer result that is only the data, not behavior. So here in the domain, I will create a customer result. First part. And in the register, you see command dot to generate a signature. So here we have this idea of customer result. And next, as expected, we need to implement this interface. Okay, so this test as is simple. So the next step is to do the assert. And to do the assert, I can do like assert dot not null the customer result. But let me just do some small refactoring. So the actual customer result to be more compliant with the patterns. And here, then the next step is when I create a customer, what is expected is that it provides an ID with the customer. So I expect that the not equal the expected let me see the yes, this is expected. This will be the actual customer result dot. Well, here there is another necessity. I expect that the customer result have an ID. So that is the necessity. And let me see. I need to do some changes here to system.guide. So, and the next will be here the expected name should be the same as actual customer result dot name. So again, I have a compilation error here. I go into the customer result and I need to add a property for that, so the name. Then I return to my test and continue. Equal expected phone number, actual customer result dot phone number. Again, I need a phone number in my result. Well, okay, so the structure here is I will set define the expected name, phone number, set up the use case, then run the use case and see if the result agree with my specification. So, and probably when I run this test, it will fail, and it is the expected behavior because we didn't implement anything. Well, okay. So what you need to do to avoid this exception in the register? Probably here we need to create the customer, right?
Right.
Yes. But what I want to do is in this moment I need to start thinking on the design because I have a service and I have a result. What I need to start thinking now is on the entity because that will be created by my service. So it will be necessary to use some kind of customer. And this customer yes, but I don't wanna break the TDD workflow. Maybe to pass this test, this error message, I can write another test, a smaller test, like public void create. So customer create returns. So it's because if I wanna create a customer, like this customer equals new customer. Well, yeah. The problem here is that it will be very similar. Yeah. Let me think. I create a customer. And well, expected name and expected phone number. What I wanna have is that the customer or the I wanna assert that the it will be basically the same asset here.
Right. I would imagine this happens a lot when the more granular you get on your testing, the more maybe refactoring you would likely do, or duplication maybe in this case.
Yeah, I wanna reach a point when I can refactor. So maybe I can arrange the tests and the classes. Also, I wanna create another project for the use cases, but I need to explore the domain and So we have small problems here, like the customer doesn't have this constructor. This VS Code can help us. Yes. Yes, but it do something that I don't really wanna. Name, phone number. Well, now, as we may see, well, there is also the actual customer. I think it's necessary to do this. So the public name get private set. To reduce something.
Right. So that private set basically disables anybody from the outside coming in changing the value.
Yes, it's because now we are going into the domain classes. And I wanna preserve the state, the internal state. So the state will be only changed by behaviors that that are exposed as APIs in the objects. So the state won't be changed freely.
Right. Right.
And we also need the ID, right?
Correct. Yep. Ivan, is there a name for what you're doing there with that encapsulation? Is that like a pattern?
This private set or which kind of
Yeah.
encapsulation?
Well, this is almost like creating a what do you call that class when you can't modify it? It's almost to that degree, but not quite. An immutable class.
Yes. But the entities in domain, they are mutable and immutable. They are allowed to be immutable. But the rule here is the state should be changed by behaviors. I don't remember of a pattern here, but it is encapsulation maybe. So
Right. At the core, right. And so when you say behaviors, you mean calling on a method to do some internal work within that.
yeah, it's because
Okay.
if I expose the state to be changed, like if I allowed the ID to be set externally, well, it may lead to problems that I'm not expecting. So I wanna preserve the state because state is the hardest part in designing applications.
Exactly. And I think that's why domain-driven design, as well as the CQRS pattern, really creates a safety net, or to prevent developers from swapping out states. And as you mentioned, I think the state change is what causes most bugs.
Yeah. So this test here is simpler than the previous one. I think what is missing now is the test attribute. So it will probably fail because the GUID ID isn't being set. Be clear here. Get the feedback. Okay, it is failing exactly because of that GUID. What you need to do is the GUID should be changed here. So this .id equals GUID.new. Well, it is. I think this test will pass now, if I'm correct. Well, I need to. Okay. This passing. So we have a simpler test and a more complex test here. What I need to do now is to write code in the use case, and I can do a small refactoring here. Name, phone number. And the idea of this use case is to create a customer with the name and phone number. And the next step is return a customer result. Well, this customer result is a transfer object for our data. So it will be based on the customer object, and the idea of this customer result is to extract the state. So it receives a customer and it will expose the ID, name, phone number. I don't need the customer to be here as a state. And this .id equals customer.id. This .name equals customer.name. This .phone number, customer.phone number. Well, do I need some setters here? I think not, because it will be created completely by my API receiving the customer constructor. Also, I can tag this as sealed, so no one will be inheriting from my DTO classes. My use case could be sealed also. So at this moment, what I have is a test that probably pass. Well, passing through. Well, this is the workflow for the red-green-refactor. The red is our compilation errors and runtime exceptions. The green is implementing the production code in the domain. And now we can do some refactoring because I like that when my use cases are exposed in an application project. And I think I'm able to do that confident using these same tests. So the next thing I want to share is, can I go to source and create another project? Could be MKDeer wallet.application. This is a trick that I learned recently. So it created another folder for me, and I am browsing the same folder. I can create .NET new class lib wallet.application. Oh, created in a way that I wasn't expecting. I think I can arrange the folder with the same. And I can go to the root folder and run that solution add again. So it will be source.net add source, not source, but need to go one folder up. So here I have the solution. So here will be source wallet.application. Great. So I added the project to the solution file. And the next thing is to go again in the source wallet application and add a reference from the application to the domain because I want to use that. So it will be .NET add .NET wallet add. I'm always confused with this syntax, but I think it's .NET add reference main wallet domain. Oh, this is just to do this line. Becoming lazy, but exercising this new SDK.
Right. I think you're doing pretty good.
Well, what I wanna do is, can I move the result to the application also the register customer to the application and the implementation to the application. I may implement the customer interface here. It's also possible, the interface. And so now I'm doing a small refactoring. So the customer, instead of domain, will be application. And the register domain, register customer will be here. By changing, here will be a wallet domain, customer, here, if I'm correctly, I need to wallet dot domain here, and the customer result, you also need the wallet dot domain. Of course, this project that is in test need the same this dot here. So now I am in the test project, and I need to add the .NET add wallet reference to the application project, because the use case will be there. Reference source wallet application. Well, at this time, let me see. So the application and domain are being used by the user tests. We have some problems here. Basically, the restore. We need to do the restore, because since we add a new project, it needs to read the .NET. Well, okay. Next step is let me see if it is building or not. So customer result. I have the customer use case. Okay. Yeah. This interface here, I wanna move to the application. I think it will be better suit there, because it needs to access the customer result, and I think it's a better design. Wallet dot. So here, just need to change the application, and using system, maybe. Some problem. Let's try again. .NET restored. A problem here. Domain. That. Using wallet.application. Well, build succeed. I don't see the reason for the problems, but let me see the unit tests. Not find tests. Well, the tests are problem with compilation. So let's evaluate the problems one by one. So cd source, cd ls, we have application, cd wallet dot domain. So here .NET build. Okay, this project is building. Then the wallet.application .NET build. Project is building correctly. cd dot tests cd wallet tests .NET build. Maybe I need to reload the window.
Yeah, interesting. Everything's building.
Yeah, okay. I reload the window. Yes, if I'm correctly, that's the problem that happened in our previous coding session.
Okay.
It's the same. It's a issue with the Mac because in Windows, when you add a project, you don't need to reload the VS Code. I think the C# extension or the Omni Sharp compiler can work around that situation. But in the Mac, when you add a new project, you need to or close the VS Code and reopen, or Command Shift P and type reload window. And also this Ctrl Shift P, it's the Command Shift P is the shortcut for today. You type what you wanna and it provides you the solution. Well,
Nice.
so I expect that our tests, and just see if I can, yes, unity tests. Let me see if the tests can run again. Yeah, that was our target.
Nice. Awesome.
You see that now we have a project with mostly use cases, and another project with the entities plus, yes, entities plus aggregates, and another project with unit tests. Well, these tests maybe seem complicated, but it's something that you need to exercise to get better. And in the end of a project, it pay you back in value.
Right. So what do you think is the most important thing about test-driven design?
Oh.
Test-driven development, excuse me.
Let me switch to our camera because okay. Well, I think the most important is the one valuable aspect of a good design is to create a design that is testable. And well, sometimes we plan to do that by big designs that, oh, I will make, if you create using these patterns, using these frameworks, or using this technology, your code will be testable. But in my vision, or what I learned from these Uncle Bob folks, are more like, if you create your code from the tests, it will be definitely testable, because that is what we are doing in the beginning. And creating a code that is testable make it more decoupled from these external dependencies, because you try to mock them, create these fake implementations, defer the implementation details. So a lot of benefits came with these disciplines.
Right. Wow. Okay.
Well,
great summary.
So I think it's all for today. And I'll share this in our social media, maybe in that paulovich.net, my blog.
Awesome.
And thank you, Calvin. It was a pleasure to have this coding session with you.
Thanks for having me.
Do you want to share some thoughts?
Well, I think what you pointed out here is, the major benefits. And I always thought it was interesting to first write tests that fail. before going to writing the implementation, but I see the power in that because it forces you to really think about your implementation and doing it, completing it correctly. So writing the tests make you think about everything you need to test, and then you go and write that code and implementation. I think that's one of the most powerful things about TDD is, you're always going to have great coverage.
Yes. Another aspect is you start thinking on the logic instead of thinking, oh, I need to design a database, then I need to create a web form. Writing tests is something that a few lines of code can test a business logic completely. And you don't need to create a web form, create a web request, then convert that request into some kind of object. And that process to design and to implement are slow, and to run multiple times are very slow. And the test you can create and delete if you wanna, if it doesn't have value. It's very flexible.
Right, exactly. Well, it's a great tutorial, and I think this definitely covers the power in TDD mixed with domain-driven design. You'll have to do another video on domain-driven design and all the powers with that too.
Yeah. So man, see you next time. Bye bye.
Yep, we'll see you soon. Take care. Thanks.